everybody. Welcome to UK Gaming Network. Welcome to the Roundup for June 2024, the podcast where we look back at the games that we have played in the last 30 days, however long the month was. Joining me for this month's video, we have UKGN Pad.
Yo.
And UKGN Teru.
Hello.
What we have done with this discussion in previous months is we've gone through all of the games that were released in the order that they were released, and I think to make the video a little bit more casual, what we're actually going to do instead is we're just going to talk about the games that we have played, and we'll obviously say what date they came out on, and then we'll have a little roundup of the other games that we've only had a couple of goes on at the end, as well as looking at any games that, catching up on any games that came out in previous months that we've only just got around to playing as well. We'll do all that at the end as well. So, so let's start then by asking you, Pad, what have you been playing this month?
Rolling Hills and Metal Slug were my two main ones that I've played.
Rolling Hills, Make Sushi, Make Friends, which came out to Game Pass on the 4th of June, affectionately known as Sushi Robot, I believe you called it to me.
I think Sushi Robot was what my son called it.
And would actually be a better name, yes.
Would actually be a better name. So on Father's Day, I got a survey that he'd done at school, which basically says, what is it that your father does, that kind of thing. And he put on it that he plays Sushi Robot because he was watching me play it one day.
Marvellous.
Yes. So, and I knew exactly what he meant. And obviously, yeah, it would be a better name for the game.
And so, is it any good?
It depends how long you play it for, would be the best answer. Now, I know Teru has played this as well, because when I first played it, during the first half hour to maybe an hour, I either messaged you or Teru and said, right, Teru's got to play this as well. She's going to absolutely love this game. Unfortunately, 5 minutes after I'd sent that message, I was bored of the game.
Well, Teru, was that true? Do you love this game?
No.
So, the first outright, it's got this, or it feels as though it's got this fake overcooked style to it. But then you kind of realise it's not overcooked, it's more like Diner Dash. It's got a terrible story to it. It introduces...
Well, not terrible, well, I'd say boring.
Wait till you finish it. It's got a terrible story to it. It is a very boring story. And whatever you do within the first hour, to be honest, whatever you do within the first half hour of the game, that's it. Start of the day, you come out of the restaurant, you've got to walk around the town, talk to a couple of people, then go back into your restaurant and do that game. Then it's the next day. And it's basically rinse and repeat that. The whole game is just repeating and repeating and repeating, and it's terrible. So much so, I'm boring myself talking about it, and I'm losing what I'm talking about because it's that boring.
Sounds to me like if you want to play a game where you run a restaurant and then go off and do stuff in the daytime, you're going to be better off sticking with Dave the Diver or Dredge.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It started off, I was dead excited by it. Got half an hour in, thought, Tara needs to play this because I thought she'd be excited by it. And then literally 5 minutes after then, I realised, hang on, I should have held off on that text.
Before we move on to the other grindy game,
yeah,
let's ask Teru about a game that I know she has played, and let her talk about that one first. And that's Blockbuster Inc, which came out on the PC, where you get to run a movie studio.
Mm-hmm.
This came out on the 6th of June.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going through my mental catalogue of playing it, and I'm like, okay, I did kind of look forward to this game because I remember playing the movies from Lionhead Studios, I think it was.
Published
Many,
by
many,
Activision.
yeah, many years ago, and I was just like, oh, I absolutely loved that game. So I was like looking forward to this. Now I started playing it, and I kind of came to the conclusion that what I had in my memory was much better than Blockbuster Inc., which it's unfair to the game because it's very nicely put together. But I didn't have the same enjoyment from it. I didn't want to keep playing it,
There is
which is
also
a
the fact
shame
that
because
the movies was a full price release, whereas I think Blockbuster Inc. is only 20 quid, isn't it? It's only like a
yeah,
mid price
yeah, but then
indie
you've
game.
got to put but then you've got to put the fact that the movie. When did the movies come out? Around about 20 years ago.
Possibly more than that, to be honest.
Yes, there's always going to be a difference no matter what when it comes to full price games versus indie, no matter when they come out. But you'd think over 20 years, you'd think, okay, this is what's been
2005.
done before. Yeah. So, well, good guess for the 20-year mark then.
Yeah, November 2005 is when that game came out, and it is currently available to download for free through the My Abandonware website.
But there are good things about the game, though, because it's very well put together. It's just that I unfortunately have played the movie, so therefore I've got this expectation, and it's not meeting those expectations. I mean, it starts off like you can pick the decade that you start your movie studio in, and it's everything's done like accordingly. So you've got this is the type of technology that you can use at the time. You can go into the movie itself to direct, so you can be the director. You can choose what animations your actors are doing. You can go, oh, I need stunt performers. It's got the technology tree behind it, so you can advance everything. There's so much good stuff about it. It's just that I, in my memory, I've played better, which is so unfair considering how long ago that was.
Imagine if they made a proper Blockbuster game, Brian. When you're in video shop where your staff don't stock up or face up the DVDs or anything like that.
If UKG had made an actual blockbuster game.
Actual
This is what
Blockbuster game where you click on a staff member and go, right, you're going to break down the boxes for the next hour. To which, if you've not worked at Blockbuster, you wouldn't understand why that would be annoying or funny.
But anyway, Pad, why don't you tell us about Metal Slug Attack Reloaded?
Ooh, I've quite liked this one. Although
this was shown and released on the same day as part of the Nintendo Direct. But it came out on everything, not just Nintendo Switch. It came out on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
it's advertised as a tower defense. I don't think it's a real tower defense, not a proper one.
Yeah, I have played this one as well, and it doesn't feel like a tower defense game to me. It feels it feels a bit like a MOBA. Do you remember a game called Awesome Nuts that came out on Xbox Live Arcade many years ago?
Vaguely.
It reminded me a little bit of
feels
that.
more like a deck builder.
There is deck building elements to it as well. Yes.
Yeah, it's more just
Definitely.
of a deck builder than general tower defense.
I mean, well, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I've always loved the graphical style of the Metal Slug series, and this just takes everything that's brilliant about the 2D shooters and puts those graphics into a strategy game.
Now, I've liked it because it is a major grind. Again,
Yes, you do love a grind. Yes,
we've established
you do love a grind.
week or every month that we talking about games, and it's like, what have you been playing this month? Brad, it's grinding games. That's it. So it is a major grind, and they've put it in there so like on purpose. So as you're progressing through the game, you'll hit a wall so quick, and you've just got to grind that last level over and over again until you've leveled up just a few times, so you can buy a few more characters, and then you'll get through another one or two battles, and then you hit the wall again, and it's just that and repeat. Yeah, I mean,
Quite enjoyed having to learn different tactics for different levels, making sure that you deploy certain troops first that will take the fire, so that your more powerful troops will come out and be able to actually do what they do, because the enemy are concentrating on the one that's nearest to them instead. Things like that.
or you could just push Y and have it set to auto.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, I do.
Why would you? Why would you put it on auto when it's much more
I
fun to
put it
play it
on
the other way?
auto, and
When it's much more fun to play it the other way.
I'm level 50 in the game. I push it's on auto and it's on fast, and I'm still grinding away at the levels. But I have enjoyed it. I'm still nowhere near finishing it, and I'm about 40 hours in. Yeah, I would recommend it, and I don't think it was that expensive, was it?
£8, yeah. I think it was only £7.99 on the Xbox. I think it's £8.50 on Steam. I think it's slightly more than that on the Switch. And
Yeah.
it's probably, I would imagine it's around the same price on the PlayStation as well.
Yeah, I would recommend it. If you like Metal Slug, you'll love it.
But let's move on to the main game that I've played this month, which I think I am the only one to have played.
Hidden Cats in Paris.
No, but but it is a game that I was expecting to be a decent game. I wasn't expecting it to like it as much as I have done, and that's a game called Still Wakes the Deep, which came out on Game Pass on the 18th of June. It's the latest game from the Chinese Room, who are the same developers responsible for Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture that came out on the PlayStation a few years ago. And this is a game where you play a worker on an oil rig in the 1970s, and a disaster happens on the rig, and it puts the lives of everybody on the rig at risk, and it slowly turns into a survival horror game. And the best thing about it is the atmosphere, which is even before you take into account the horrors that start happening, you really feel the claustrophobia, and the rig feels real. And as a consequence, the game just sucked me in completely. And I did end up playing it right through to the finish. Story wise, it's quite predictable, but I don't think that ultimately was too much of a negative. And from a technical standpoint, it does look absolutely incredible.
I have enjoyed watching you play it. It's like I can handle horror games to a certain degree. I'm better off watching you play it, and it's just like I'm getting sucked in watching what you're doing in the game as well. It's like, oh god, these are real people, and it's like
Definitely don't want it in VR.
No, oh god, no.
oh god, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah, definitely not VR for that one. Thank you very much. If you can handle a horror game, then I would definitely recommend playing it. But not if you are in any way put off by swearing. There's probably not as much swearing in this as there is in something like Mafia 2 or South Park, but the language is stronger.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. But considering the situation that the characters find themselves in, sometimes very appropriate.
Yes. Another game that I've played probably the next longest this month would be Neo Sprint, which only came out this week. The latest game in the Super Sprint series, which started way back at the dawn of arcades from Atari. I think Super Sprint itself was actually a sequel to the old black and white Sprint game that came out at the end of the 70s, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then Super Sprint was mid 80s, but 84, 85 that came out. But yeah, Super Sprint on the Atari ST is one of the most played racing games of probably my lifetime. So I was really looking forward to playing this one when I noticed it crop up on the coming soon section on the PlayStation a couple of months ago. It's only 20 quid to buy, so it's not a full price release. It looks pretty cheap, I'm not going to lie. But I think everything that the developers have done with the game is geared towards ensuring that the game remains fun to play. There's a lot of tracks to it. You can have up to 8 cars on track at a time in a race. There's local multiplayer races. There's online multiplayer races. There's quite a lot of single player stuff to this. There's obstacle courses, Grand Prix, a campaign to play through. So there's a lot here to keep you going. My main disappointment with it is one, I would have liked an actual arcade mode to be reminiscent of how the old games were in the 80s, where it would just keep cycling around the tracks until you lost. That I would have liked a mode like that. And there are no on-track pickups in this one either, so you can't increase your speed and handling or anything like that. But there are about 8. I think there's about 10 different cars that you can race in, each with their own different stats. So I've enjoyed what I've played of it so far. I have literally just finished all the campaign side, so I've now got all the Grand Prix and obstacle courses to go through. I believe you've only played the tutorial of this one, though, Pad.
Yes, only played the tutorial. I was dead excited for it coming out. And then played the tutorial, noticed what time it was, and I had to go and pick the kid up from school. And then I got back, and I'm afraid Minecraft went on the TV because my kid was at home. And I've not gone back to it since. But kind of like, did Super Sprint have items on tracks?
Yes, it had like you could pick up gold wrenches, and
Right.
when you'd collected 3 of them, you then got the option to which did you want to boost, your speed, your acceleration, or your handling.
Right. I remember Off-Road did, but I couldn't remember if Super Sprint did.
And then there is one other game that I've played this month, and that is Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, which came out on the Nintendo Switch on the 25th of June. If you've played a Super Monkey Ball game before, then you'll know exactly what you're going to get from this one. It plays brilliantly, as you would expect. What it seems to have introduced, if you played the Monkey Ball game on the Wii, that introduced a jump button, which I don't think worked quite so well. So in this one, this doesn't have that, but instead it has a Sonic the Hedgehog style speed boost, where you can hold a button to like increase your speed on the spot, and then let go of the button to zoom over ramps to get to certain areas, and that works for Monkey Ball a lot better than jumping did. But what
I've not played it yet. I'm dying to play it.
But the Banana Rumble of the title refers to the multiplayer mode, which I've had a quick go on. I've not played an awful lot of, but it very much reminded me of Fall Guys. So it's basically Monkey Ball it's basically Fall Guys with monkey balls. So you have to make your way around the obstacle course with about 16 other players at the same time. You can barge each other off, and you have to try and come first.
So, like Kirby's Dream Buffet.
Yes, yeah, like that one as well. But I think you will enjoy this one when you do get around to playing it, Pad.
It is on the list, especially now that you've told me it's got an online like Kirby's Dream Buffet. I love that game.
It's definitely a game that well, I hope you buy so that I can play, so that I can join multiplayer games with you on it.
Yeah. Oh, I will.
So then I've just got a quick roundup of other games that came out that I played for like a couple of quick games on, but didn't really play for very long. First up was Star Wars Hunters, which came out on the Nintendo Switch on the 4th of June. This is a free-to-play hero shooter, and from a technical standpoint, it's well made, but it's another of these games that's completely ruined by its microtransactions. So I think I only played it for about half an hour and then decided, nope, not playing that anymore. There was also a game called Times in Galaxy, which I bought, which is a really charming adventure game. I think it had this come out in the 90s, it would have definitely been a point and click one. But as it is, playing it today, you have direct control over the little robot character that you play as, and basically you play as a little reporter intern for the Galaxy's best-selling newspaper, and you have to go off and talk to all the people and decide what story you're going to publish in the paper. Like, what kind of, do you want to go for the sensational side, or do you want to try and stick to the truth no matter what? And it's really nice cartoon presentation. It's a game that I want to play more, but I've not had time to play it that much. But it's definitely made a good impression to start with. And then the only other game that came out in June is the 20th anniversary edition of Beyond Good and Evil from Ubisoft.
That's on my list.
Which
I want to play that.
It's about it's the third time that I've got Beyond Good and Evil. I bought it on the GameCube originally when it first came out. I then bought it again on Xbox Live Arcade when it was on the 360, and I've now got it sat on my Xbox waiting for me to play it more as part of the Ubisoft Plus subscription that I have. So I've played it for about half an hour. It seems they've not done an awful lot to it, I will admit, but it's definitely polished and smooth. And Beyond Good and Evil was a great game back in the day, so it didn't really need a lot of work doing to it.
It was. Still have it.
And so let's finish off this month's video by talking about games that came out in previous months that we have only just got around to playing. So I know Pad has one he wants to talk about.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Hidden Cats in Paris. Come on, Pad. Tell me all about it.
There's a Hidden Cats in Paris game.
You're the one that bought it, Pad.
I've absolutely loved the Hidden Cats games, and I don't know why I've loved them. I've just loved them. They're not a long game. There's you get one big map as your main part of the game, and you can either play it on novice or advanced. Novice is like there's 100 cats that you got to find, and in advanced there's 150 cats you've got to find, plus I think 10 or 20 special cats, plus it also gives you people that you've got to find. But for I think it's like £1 something per game. They're just worth it. If you've got a spare hour or hour and a half or something like that, that you can't decide what to play, you're bored, you think I might just do a little bit of a hidden object, then just get the Hidden Cat games. They're fun. They keep you entertained for a little bit, especially if you love cats like I do.
Love cats.
Love cats. So yeah,
Cats are amazing. They're psychopaths and evil, but I love them.
And then there are two other games, which are the last two that I played, which both came out at the end of May. So therefore we're just too late to be included in last month's video, and therefore not June releases, so couldn't be included in this one. And that's F1 24 and Horizon Chase 2. F1 24 is almost exactly the same as F1 23. So therefore, if it's your first ever,
refer to previous videos.
Yeah, if it's your first ever F1 game, you're going to think it's brilliant. If you played last year's edition, I can't recommend that you buy this one because it is exactly the same and doesn't even have the story mode in it that last year's did. And Horizon Chase 2 is the sequel to one of my favourite arcade racing games on the Xbox. This game actually came out on Apple Arcade 2 years ago and came out on the Switch last year, but it's just come out on Xbox and PlayStation this month. And it's really challenging, really fun, really fast. I have enjoyed playing it an awful lot. I am disappointed that it hasn't got quite as much content as the original game did. But if you do like an arcade racing game, I would recommend that you pick this one up. And so that brings us to the end of the June roundup. What would you say is your game of the month, Pad?
Metal Slug.
What would you say is your game of the month, Teru?
Can I be awkward again, like I always am?
Your
But I
prerogative.
promise you, it's not Final Fantasy.
Has it come out this month?
No, but
Right, well,
I
in
only
that case,
played it
I'm
this
changing
month.
my answer. I'm changing my answer to Hidden Cats in Paris.
Okay, you change your answer to Hidden Cats in Paris. I'm going to change my answer. My answer is This Means Warp, because this is the first month that I played it, and I think it's great.
Yes, we
And I
have
want to
played
play
it. All of us played it a few times, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did have one complaint, though, didn't we?
Yeah, you can have up to 4 people playing it, but the difficulty absolutely skyrockets.
Okay, we had 2 complaints.
Yeah. What was yours?
You can't have 2 people. You can't have 2 people on the same console.
Yes, yeah, that was
Yeah.
annoying.
That was it.
That required us to buy the Switch version
Twice.
twice, which thankfully was in a sale in order to be able to play it.
So
But,
you've got to play either local or online, but if you're
It was
playing
very
online,
enjoyable.
only one person can be on that console.
Mm-hmm.
So that was annoying. It means we now own 4 copies of the game between us.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
I think that's how the developers intended it.
Yeah, probably. But then there was too much of a difference in the loading between the Switch and the Xbox.
Yeah,
So
I noticed
whereas me and Zoidberg, who were playing on the Xbox ones, we were sat there at the beginning of the screen for ages while Teru and
yeah, with the screen saying
either
waiting
were.
for other players. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was just waiting for the players.
Yeah, and
then
also
there was a small lag between the actual games themselves. So Heather, who was sat next to me at the time, was playing on the Switch, but she was watching the TV rather because she didn't want to look at the smaller screen, and then it created issues because there was that bit of a lag.
and also the fact playing it on the small screen, it's like the writing is absolutely tiny on the Switch. Sorry?
Were you playing it on your Switch Lite or on your full size one?
Full size.
Yeah, well, but in handheld.
Yeah, the on-screen
Yeah.
text. The on-screen text is tiny. Yes, but anyway, my game of the month is Still Wakes the Deep, which I can't imagine either one of you are going to play. But I did really like. I did really like it. So thank you for joining us for this video. Thank you, Pad, and thank you, Teru, for your insight.
No worries.
No problem.
July is looking like being a pretty sparse month for new releases. There are a few games out, but we'll see what we can have played, and we'll be back at the end of that month to let you know our opinions. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.